Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Manisha, and I have randomly taken a 2-month break. Was that on purpose? No, it was a complete accident, but I'm back and I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And I recently got the box set of the Chestnut Springs books, minus whatever the last one was because I really didn't like it. But it was the box set of the first 4 books, and I was like, what better than to do a rereading vlog? So, a little fact about me, I've only read the second book, Flawless, and the third, I think it was the 4th book, Reckless. And then the other 2 of those 4, so Flawless and Powerless, never read them. I tried and then I DNF'd them like immediately. Not immediately. I got a little bit into them and then I was like, oh, this might not be for me. And then, especially because I came off of Heartless and then I went into Powerless, I was like, this is not as good. But I did try to start with Flawless. I just didn't get very far. But I didn't realize I was going to love it so much, so I didn't read it on camera. But I just finished Flawless yesterday night. And you know, I got to the part where I had DNF'd it the first time, and I was like, what was I thinking? Like, this is so cute. And this book was so adorable. I absolutely loved the father-daughter bond in this. Kip is literally the dad. Like, he's just so supportive of Summer. He just wants her to feel loved and encourage her to, like, chase her dreams. And it was just so good. And then, how dare I really just diminish the man that Rhett Eaton is? He was such a book boyfriend. I absolutely loved him in this book. He was just phenomenal. He was a phenomenal love interest. And then we get like Winter. And because I never read this book the first time around, I got the context because, like, you know, they are technically like standalones, like you in a series, right? So I kind of got the context because it was explained, but like I love seeing how like tense Summer and Winter's relationship was, and then because I know where it goes, I'm like, I'm so ready. But that's rough. Like, what we discover about Summer and Winter and what Summer was kind of coerced into doing, oh my gosh, that was a lot. But I'm glad Summer found Rhett because they are like the one true love. Like, well, maybe I'm gonna read Kate and Willa's book and then I'll be like, maybe not. But for right now, I can't believe I DNF'd it. But I DNF'd it the first time. But I also think, you know, right time and right like read. So like maybe the first time I was reading this book, I was just not in the right place to read this story and enjoy it. But now I am, and I finished it. And this is like a solid 4.5. I adored this book. It was so just cute. Just so romantic. Oh, the book that this was. Okay. Anyways, now that we have this weird glare that I've now noticed, we're just gonna keep it pushing. So the next book, of course, is Heartless. And, you know, after I finished this, I was like, I wish I had recorded my reaction to this. So I was like, we're gonna remedy this at least a little bit by doing the next 3 books on film, on camera. But yeah. Okay, so let's jump into Heartless. Okay, so I don't know if I've mentioned this, but Heartless is probably my favorite book in all of the Chestnut Springs series. So I am so ready for this reread. I feel like it's just so adorable. Is it adorable? No. It's just so like, I don't know. I just love Willa and Kate like right off the bat. Like they have such a like connection randomly. And they're just, you can already feel the chemistry just like right off the bat. It's just so good. Y'all, it got so cold in my room, so I busted out my rodeo sweatshirt. Isn't it so cute? Anyways, we have gotten to like see Willa and Luke's first interaction. They're just so cute together. Like, I just love that Willa just so immediately bonds with Luke and is just kind of playing into his world, you know, just climbing trees with him and stuff. Oh, it's just so cute. Like, and she just says the right thing to him that he wants to hear, or I would imagine he would want to hear as a kid who's like, mom is not present. Don't get me wrong, I just came off of reading Flawless, right? And I loved it. But this, it's just, I'm literally like 54 pages in. The banter is already just so good. It's just incomparable to like any other book in the series. I just love the dynamic between them. It's just so off the bat comfortable. While Willa, we know that she has a little bit of like she's good at just immediately being comfortable with people. Having Cade be like the strong, silent type person who doesn't really let people in, kind of guarded, and then Willa just coming in absolutely bulldozing through like all of his walls. It's just adorable and just amazing, incredible. And she's just so good at bringing out that little bit of like fire in Cade. And it's just so good. I am now 150 pages into the beauty that is Heartless. And I just want to say, like, I feel like I love Flawless, but like this book, like, I just can't stop grinning. Like, I have the biggest smile on my face the entire time I'm reading this. Like, there's never a dull moment. I'm just so, like, on cloud 9 the entire time I'm reading this book. It's just so good. So I'm actually just going to stop talking and like get into the book now, because, you know, it feels like this morning has been dragging on forever. So now we're at 2:48 in the afternoon. I'm ready to feel a little happiness today. Okay guys, I just finished Heartless. And first of all, I think I read this quite a bit slower than I read it the first time. But oh my gosh, the ending. So, first of all, I just love that the Chestnut Springs series, it reads just so much like a continuation of the story. We see little tidbits of the other characters that are coming later on, and we like actually like see them not in like a kind of superficial level way. We actually genuinely see what's happening in their lives. I just feel like that helps us gain that little bond with the side characters before we even get to their book, where I find that some other standalone series, like, actually I don't want to call it any series, but other standalone series, you get like such small glimpses of other characters that when it's their book, you feel like you know like something very small about them, not enough to actually feel connected to them. But this, I'm like, oh, where's Winter? Where's Winter's story gonna go? Like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just find that so like nice. And then don't even get me started when they poured the walkway and then they wrote all the, like, Cade and Lucas wrote the initials of Willa, Cade, and Lucas, like, onto the sidewalk. And then they wrote W-E. And then Willa was like, my initials are W-G. And then Lucas is like, oh, not for long, though. My dad made that one. Or whatever. That was so adorable. And then, of course, you know, we had our little third act conflict. But, you know, I don't know. I feel like pregnancy trope is like widely disliked. I don't really. Maybe I've just been privileged that I always read it in a context that I don't feel bothered by it. And the way that this gets resolved in this book doesn't feel like they're only together because of the pregnancy. Because they're both like, we can just actually like sit on this and decide what we want to do if we really want to be together. And there's no real pressure from either side. I mean, of course they end up together, but like, it's still cute, and I really liked the way that the pregnancy is like dealt with when it comes up. And yeah, of course, the ending is so sweet. We see that they name their daughter after Cade's mom who passes away. Just so adorable. Ah, I think I'm gonna rate this a little bit lower because I read this so slowly. I think the first time I read it, I rated it 4.75. I think this time I'm probably gonna rate it like 4 or 4.25. I just felt like it dragged just a little bit, and that could totally be, again, because I read it so slowly, that it just felt like this book was going on for too long. Just slightly too long. But again, I love that ending. It's just so cute. I just love their love story. It's it's just so adorable. I just love how much Willa loves Lucas and how she's like, I loved you before I even loved your father, and it's just so sweet. Lucas and Willa's relationship is just so sweet. And then he's like, oh, can I call you mom? Because the baby's gonna call you mom. And it's just, are you kidding me? On to the next book. So I think we're reading Powerless next. And I've actually never read Powerless because I got through the first like 20 pages, DNF'd it. No, because you're joking. You're actually joking. How did I DNF this the first time around? Because this is just opening up. Straight up, we see Sloane at age 10. And that entire chapter or prologue is just quintessential girlhood. We have a little girly crush, you know, that just makes you feel all butterflies on the inside. We have a bestie. Like, I just appreciate so much how Sloane and Violet's relationship is like just sisters. Like, they're just sisters. It's so sweet. That entire just prologue was just like heart melting. Like, just, it was just so cute. Are you kidding me? But yeah, I haven't gotten very far. I am on page 64. That last clip was from like a few days ago. I did take a while to like really start it. Quite honestly, the last time I updated was when I just started the book. And now I'm like a decent chunk through Powerless. I'm on page 349 out of, gosh, this book is long. 457, 456. And I just feel like I was along for the ride. You know, I feel like it was decent. There was some moments where I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's so nice of them to say, whatever. But now it just feels like there's so many plots going on, and genuinely, it's just too much. Like, the plot with Beau, the plot with Sloane, Jasper just existing, literally his entire life is just one big plot to plot to plot. Like, this man has too much trauma. Like, and he won't go to therapy. Like, no. And then Sloane is just like such a mess right now, and is just like, what is she doing? And then Beau being missing, I'm just like, this was just tossed in here. Like, I don't really feel like, I don't know. I get that it had to happen for Beau's book to actually be set up, but I just feel like so much of this book was like spent on Beau, and Beau was like my least favorite character. I just could not be more disinterested in what's happening with Beau. And then Sloane, like, we're almost done the book. There's like 100 pages left. And tell me why Sloane has still not dealt with anything. I think she's about to go into the apartment to deal with Sterling potentially. I'm assuming, just for plot, Sterling will be home. So we have that happening. And then Jasper has this random thing where we learn that he needs to be in control even when they're like being intimate. And I'm just like, bro, why are we like bringing in like dark romance aspect into this random cowboy romance? Like, this is too much. Like, and he's just so weird. Like, I just feel like he just makes like being in control his entire persona, and he has no other character trait whatsoever. He's just so one-dimensional. But then, you know what? Sloane is also one-dimensional because she's just a doormat. And I just don't find any chemistry between them. And now, like, every single page, I feel for the last 60 pages, has just been them being intimate. And it's boring. And especially for the fact that I don't even care for them together. And it doesn't feel like they developed any type of emotional relationship, really. It still just feels like they're friends, to be honest. Guess what I have finished? And I have some thoughts because I don't think I fully updated. I think the last time I was going on kind of a rant because I was a little annoyed. I think I had just ended the last clip when they were going to Sloane's apartment. Sterling wasn't even there. Be so for real. I feel like him not even being there was no character development. Her just like going through mentally and being like, oh, I don't actually care that my relationship is over. I was not invested in anything happening. And she just has that mental development, which cool. But like, we know this entire book has just been mental development. There's been no like actual like progression in her life. We're just straight up getting her thinking new thoughts. Like, which again, important in a journey to think and, you know, shift your framework. But I need something to happen. Whatever. Anyways, my other thing was like I kept reading, and why do they keep bringing up the fact that the night that Jasper tells Sloane all of his trauma, she doesn't know how to respond, and so she just dances? Like, okay, you know, you bring it up one time, and I'm like, okay, I can forget that she did that, because stop. Like, isn't that, it's just so cringy. Like, that is like something that would happen in a Wattpad movie or like a Wattpad book in the early 2000s. Like, before we like fully realized things were cringy, like that's what would happen. Please stop reminding me about this. Like, I don't need to remember every 2 seconds that Sloane is like just not like other girls. She just can't articulate things, so she puts it into dance. Like, please, no. No. Please, no. It's okay, whatever. We then get, you know, a little cameo of the beginning of Reckless, which honestly was saving me because I was just a little tired of Sloane and Jasper. But then immediately I was like, oh, Winter and Theo moment. Saving me and my enjoyment of this book. Because automatically I was like, oh, I can feel the good vibes rolling in. The banter is just making me like laugh. Oh, it's just so good. Anyways, then we like, you know, skip by. And then Sloane and Winter are developing a friendship, which we stand that. I think like once it kind of separated a little bit and, you know, had a little fight and stuff like that, like, you know, things actually got a little better. I'm not gonna lie, I think Sloane just developed a little bit by herself and just had a little bit more of a personality to her. I still didn't really like Jasper, which in a romance, I'm sorry, but it's kind of big. But I digress. I think the thing is with this book is it reminded me a lot of the last book, which is Hopeless, where majority of the book I didn't really like or enjoy, but like the ending was cute. I enjoyed seeing the family together, and Jasper and Sloane have a cute moments, and you know, they're not just having intimate scenes that last 20 pages every 10 seconds. You know, it was great. It was a good time. It was a wholesome time. Good vibes all around. We get cameos from more characters, so I think that also, you know, bolstered my enjoyment. I think I'm going to very kindly rate this book 2.75. It like just had too many weird elements for me personally that I was not expecting. Like, why am I just reading so many odd things in a no, it's not hockey romance, but just like my perception going into this book was this was going to be more similar to literally every other book in the series, but like this just took a turn and it was just a little too much for me. Not that it's too much for me, it was just too much for what I was expecting. When I go into an Elsie Sliver book, I don't expect the main love interest to be like that. And then he just was. And he was just like wanting her to crawl all the time. And I'm just like, no, please, please no.
This is not that kind of book, Jasper. Like, but anyways, moving on to the next book. So excited. Reckless. Y'all, the way I am enjoying this book, like, I needed this. After Powerless, I needed this. Like, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. This is why, like, this book is, like, why I read Elsie Silver books, just in case they end up like this. Because why is the banter, like, just astronomically well done? Just, does that even make sense? No. But it's just so good. Like, the way that the chemistry has already been established, like, I am only on page 88. Like, you're kidding me. You're actually kidding me. Like, of course we have, like, you know, had the whole pregnancy happen, and, you know, we all know what happened here. Hopefully you know if you're watching this, but oh my gosh. So now Theo's been thrown off the bull, and he is just, you know, laying on the ground, and who else is gonna run to save him and look after him but Winter? And, or until paramedics come, she's gonna look after him, but you're kidding me. This is, it's just so phenomenally done. The way that Elsie Silver can just bring in chemistry so easily and flawlessly, like, it's truly a gift. Like, when she gets it right, she gets it so right. Okay, guys, good morning. It is obviously the next day, and I've come in for nothing else but a Reckless reading update. So, not gonna lie, I was like low-key getting a little bit like, Winter just needs to tell Theo about Vivian, and I was getting a little bit like, how long is this gonna drag out? But it doesn't drag out for that long. Again, I don't fully remember like every single detail about this book, but you know, I remember the main plot beats, and I'm so glad Elsie does not drag that on, because I would have been kind of annoyed. But we do move on pretty quick, because obviously Theo comes and lives right beside Winter, and yeah, and I just love how Theo just is so immediately like, I'm gonna be here, like, I'm gonna try and just do the best I can now. Like, obviously I'm so regretful that I wasn't there for the first 18 months, but here we are, and just the way that he cares about Winter is just so heartwarming. I just love how Winter's always like, I've never had anyone that put me before someone else, and like is considerate of how I feel about things or how it affects me, and it's just... Okay, obviously the next day, I am now on page 320. I'm getting close to the end. This book is 390 pages. Obviously I know that the conflict is going to start soon, because, or like the conflict is going to happen soon, because it hasn't yet. But watching Theo prioritize Winter and just show her such like unconditional love, and watch Winter become more comfortable relying on someone, Theo. Also having Winter support Theo's dreams of wanting to win a bull riding championship. You know, there's that prioritization. Did I think though for a moment that, wow, we really spend a lot of this book unpacking Winter's kind of quote unquote problems and kind of fixing up her life. We don't really spend a lot of time with Theo and like the possible conflicts that he may be dealing with, like his dad's death, the impacts of him living in the shadows of his dad, and then his mentor Rhett. I don't know. We haven't really gone through that yet, and I don't remember if we do, or this book is just mainly just Winter figuring her things out. But we shall see. Guys, I literally finally finished Reckless. Like, literally my pride and joy from this series. This was so amazing. So I finished it last night, and I've just been trying to collect...
I've been just trying to collect my thoughts, and I just love it so much. I feel like I really enjoyed that we get the setup of Theo and Winter already being attracted to each other and having good chemistry before the baby comes along. And I just like that being set up already prior to Vivi even coming, so that there's not really that feeling that the baby is what's keeping them together. It's really just them and the way that they are able to communicate and work through their problems. And I think the character growth we witness Winter go through is so amazing. We see her just go from someone who is, as the book is talking about, like an island, just isolated from everyone, can't rely on anyone to provide for her or help her do anything. And then we go to her still being independent and very much able to do things by herself, but realizing that she doesn't need to, and that she can rely on Theo, rely on her sister, rely on the family that she's kind of collected, quote unquote, in Chestnut Springs. And I think that's just so beautiful. Okay, a little bit of a time jump, but as I was saying, I just love that we focus so much on Winter's growth and having her become such a just more comfortable and confident person, in that she's loved and she's not this ice queen that no one can appreciate and just like to be around. I do wish we focused a little bit on Theo. I feel like this book was very Winter centric. I wish that we worked a little bit through Theo and his kind of struggle living in the shadow of his father and the legacy that his father left behind as this very allotted bull rider. But, you know, I'll take what I can get, because I did enjoy what we did see of Theo and the little bit of kind of him battling the idea that he's kind of a player. He kind of sleeps around. He's not very focused on his career and whatnot. But yeah, this was just so adorable. I just love how much Theo was there for Winter to support her and just be there for her in any way that was possible. I do think that the kind of third act conflict was kind of small, but I think it was better that way because it didn't really make sense. Like, if there was a giant conflict, it wouldn't really flow well with the story, I think, because it just doesn't make sense, because the kind of premise of, not to say that Vivi was a conflict, but there's a little bit of a more of a non-traditional route already, like where there's kind of a hiccup that they had to work through initially, so it doesn't really make sense to make a huge conflict at the end. But, you know, the little conflict made sense. And then I love that in that conflict we also have Winter being like, okay, I need to show up for Theo now, because he always shows up for me even when I'm doing something that's a little bit more abrasive or might cause people to like run away from me. And so then she ends up showing up at his apartment, or not an apartment, a hotel room, and being like, oh, you know, like, you can't run away from me, like, you know, whatever it is. Not that you can't run away from me, but like, I'm gonna always show up for you. And I really enjoy that. This book was so good. But anyways, I think I'm going to rate this book 4.5, which I think the first time I read it was a 4.25, so it went up a whole 0.25. Yeah, I think, again, it would have been a little bit higher if we had kind of worked through a little bit more of Theo's, I don't want to say issue, but a little bit more of Theo's kind of struggles. I immensely enjoyed this book. I'm glad that this was the book that I finished out this reading vlog on and not another book. But yes, thank you for staying along if you did. I really appreciate it, and I hope you had a good time watching this. And if you read anything interesting or good recently, drop it down below. Like, doesn't even need to be cowboy romance. Like, I am looking for some book recommendations right now, because I'm not in a drought, but like, it's a little rough out here finding books. So if you've read anything good, drop it down below and maybe I'll check it out. Thank you.